Random non sequitur. Random non sequitur.
Oh.
Random non sequitur.
Probably still better than every one I've ever done.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for joining. Oh, I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us once again for this, the 136th episode of the Jerk Doctor Who podcast, wherein we discuss the
136th story of Doctor Who, the Caves of Androzani.
Androzani.
Androzani. Alright. Well, if you can tell from the cover, if you want to pause and make it bigger.
He's ugly.
We got a guy here who's very family opera-esque. Bunch of bad guys on here. The Doctor and Perry. Now that Perry's the only companion.
He has this one glass eye, and he really went crazy on the eyelashes on that half of his mask.
Man, that eye right there was the only part that... No, right here was the only part that wasn't horribly disfigured.
Yeah, and his lips.
Mm.
Although they're quite pale. What are we drinking today, Hatter?
I am drinking Blind Squirrel Peanut Butter Whiskey.
Squirrel. Oh, peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drinking a Twisted Tea Half and Half.
Do you want to take a sip?
Of the peanut butter?
Yeah, peanut butter whiskey. Take a
Peanut
little
butter
whiskey.
I'll try it.
Mm.
Ooh, it smells peanut butter.
It is very peanut buttery. Really good. I like this stuff.
Ooh. Tastes peanut buttery.
Alright,
Where's the jelly?
there is a peanut butter and jelly version, but it's not as good.
No?
No. There's also a peanut
gotta
butter
try it.
banana.
Oh.
Not as good. Well, to be fair, I haven't tried that one. I'm just assuming it's not as good.
You ever get like peanut butter, banana, and honey? Oh, best sandwich.
I hate banana.
Oh, well.
I hate the texture.
You're
I
missing
hate
out.
the taste.
It's so good.
I might have a slight allergy. I just hate bananas.
Banana pudding is my favorite dessert of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandma makes it.
Beignets. I mean beignets.
Beignets are good.
Although baked Alaska is also good.
Is that a dessert?
Yeah, and red velvet cake.
I thought baked Alaska was a fish.
No, it's dessert. What they do is you get this like it's like an ice cream cakey thingy, and they put a bunch of alcohol over it, and they light the alcohol on fire.
Oh, fun.
So the alcohol's burnt off. You don't actually.
It's just for the look.
It's for the look and the
Does it add
the
a
burning.
char flavor?
A little bit of flavor, yeah. It's pretty
I
good.
like ice cream cake.
All right. Today is the 13th of November, 2023. Okay, I'm having some problems with my computer. I was not able to render last week's video as of yet. So this one may go up with last week's video and possibly next week's video, all more or less at the same time.
Stay
we
tuned
shall see.
For
Yeah,
a 3-episode special.
possibly.
Possibly.
Special, as in we didn't have our shit together. Okay. The Caves of Androzani, number of episodes 4. They aired from March 8th, 1984. Once again, Monday, Tuesday, to March 16th, 1984. The companions, just Perry. The antagonists, we have a long list of antagonists here.
March looks like the 43rd month of the year.
No. This is 4, and then 3, 8.
Should I put a comma?
Well, we can move the 4 over a bit.
I'll do that. I'll do
Yeah.
the villains.
Alright, villains. Okay, so there's a lot of villains. There's the president. There's Morgan. Tal Morgan. There's Sherrod Jack.
Here, I saved you time.
Not everyone.
Okay.
Okay. The federal soldiers are not villains. They're just doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I'll fix it.
Mostly harmless.
There we go. That's our villain.
That's actually fair.
Because I'm not writing down all this.
There's too many. Okay, so literally nearly everyone except the federal soldiers that you meet in this are actually villains. From gun smugglers to the guy who controls the world to the president of the world to the Phantom of the Opera guy to his androids to the armadillo dragon.
Looked terrible.
Yeah, well, it was better than the one a couple serials ago.
Barely.
It actually looked decent, I thought. To the androids.
The worst part was it didn't move, so it was making noises, but its jaw was just stuck agape.
Yeah.
It had locked jaw.
Yeah, but
its
pretty close to everyone in this is a villain, except the Dr. Perry and the Federal soldiers.
All those villains that I don't even get to ask my one question I ask every podcast.
Do they come back?
Yeah, I get to ask, does Madam General Crow come back?
Okay.
It's just like the only one left.
Okay, spoilers. Everybody dies. It's like the one a couple of episodes ago where everybody dies. Every single character except the secretary. All of them. And she's on the major. They're all on the minor, but yeah, every last good guy, bad guy, everybody except her and Perry dies. Which means, if you haven't figured it out, this is the regeneration story for the Fifth Doctor into the Sixth Doctor. Yes, even the Doctor dies. Gives up his own life to save Perry, and he regenerates into Colin Baker. Oh man, this is, just to let you know, generally considered the magnum opus for the Fifth Doctor, for Davison. This is considered his best serial. From the acting, to the storyline, to him sacrificing himself for a companion he only met the previous serial.
It was his fault, though, to be fair.
Yeah, to the action, to everything. This is considered his best serial. Now, we'll vote on it later.
Okay.
We could vote on it tonight, because...
and creepy.
The season isn't over yet. There's one more serial, The Twin Dilemma.
But the Doctor's over.
But this Doctor's over, and we can do like we did before with the first and second Doctors when he regenerated mid-season, and lump those two in with the season prior. So we do this season separately and lump the Twin Dilemma in with the next season.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. We don't have the board ready.
I can get the board ready.
Okay, if you want
All
to.
right. Hey. All right. So... All right.
Episode 1.
Doctor and Perry land on what's the planet?
Crevice. It's Androzani Major.
Androzani Minor. And the Doctor. The Doctor's like, I don't know why they landed there. The Doctor's like, yep. It's still sand. Nothing's been here for a billion years. But I wanted to look at sand and see if anything had been here in the last billion years. You know?
I think he didn't mean to go there, and he was pretending like he meant to go there. He's like, oh yeah.
Very possible.
Just checking on this crater.
This is another fast 4-parter. Could have been a 6-parter.
Oh, so fast.
This
one was actually packed.
Yeah, the last episode itself could have easily been 2 episodes, and there are a few other spots where I noticed they could have ended an episode on it.
They had all these plot points, and they're like, well, we don't have time to finish them, so we'll just kill off all the characters, and they'll
kill everybody.
Round off their plot.
Oh, man. Okay, so the Doctor's like, okay, so on this planet, there are these mudslides, the mud magma that comes up out of the ground, because the core of the planet is mud. This is a small one, the Minor, that shares a weird... sort of geostable thing with Major, and when they come into contact with each other close, that's when the mud things pop up.
Yeah.
So he and Perry go wander into the Caves of Androzani. Androzani. Sorry, Zani is an anagram of Nazi.
Oh.
And I keep almost saying that. Because Zani's not a word, but the other one is.
Afro-Nazi. Oh, we got banned on YouTube just now.
Androzani. Okay. Was that within the first 4 minutes? Then we might have been. We're not monetized anyway. We've got I think, was it 40-something followers now, and maybe 8 watches an episode.
Not monetized.
So we're not monetized, but if we were, this would be demonetized.
We could be deplatformed. We'll see.
Well, on YouTube, but not on Rumble.
Oh yeah, we're on.
Rumble is a lot more free speech
Rumble.
and less clamping down on crap.
Did you see those Rumble ads they rolled out with a bunch?
So in the football game, right?
Yeah, kind of around then, YouTube was cracking down on ad blockers, And if you have an ad blocker, they give you, a pop-up. Ad blockers are no longer allowed on YouTube, and they're kind of what, Amazon Prime would do. It's like, now you can't watch these videos if you have an ad blocker. They're starting to do that.
Oh.
Right around then, as like a, let's kind of move in on this market share, Rumble was throwing out a bunch of ads.
We don't care.
And it was like the Mac and PC thing. And it's like, on YouTube, and they're like, you don't like free speech.
YouTube has not liked free speech for a while.
The Rumble guy was like, the YouTube guy was like some nerd, on the Mac and PC thing, and the Rumble guy was a cool guy with the backwards cap.
The backwards cap I've never cared for, even when you wore one.
Yeah. Next week I'm wearing a backwards cap.
Okay, go look 100 episodes ago, you'll see the backward cap. I don't know if it's exactly 100, but...
The leather belt buckle.
So anyway, so the doctor and Perry wander the caves, the doctor's behest, because he's like, look, there's glass. Oh, here's where a mono-ski thing drove through here. Okay, there's people here. They go into the caves.
Monoskit.
Monoskit.
I bothered to write it down.
Monoskid.
There's a lot more important things I didn't write down.
So they go into the caves. They're looking around. Perry slips on the very, very glass-like, the glass, because it's so slick, and she falls into what looks like an alien pod from Aliens.
Yeah.
But it's opened, and it gets all over her legs. The doctor goes down to her, and he wipes it off of her, and he's like, oh, okay, this isn't good, but whatever. And they go back up. This becomes very important, because from about 7 or 8 minutes into the serial, they're dying. Like, the doctor and Perry are both dying for 4 episodes. This is a very dark serial.
So dark.
Nearly everyone dies, like I said, except Perry and a single secretary.
Yeah.
Wait. There are 2 women in the entire serial. They live. The 40 men in the entire serial all die.
Mm-hmm. That's real life. If you look at World War I, you're going to see a lot of dead men.
Yeah. It seems a little unlikely statistically, but yeah. I'm like, wait a second. All right. In the meantime, there's a surveyor looking through his survey glass, and a big giant dragon armadillo comes up behind him and kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a team that has armadillo as their mascot. Can't remember the team, but it looks like a fancier version of that mascot outfit.
Looks like Ninja Turtles, where Shredder gives the...
But like the first Ninja Turtle, it's better than the later costumes. the costumes get worse and worse in the Ninja Turtle movies as you go along. Well, the first 3, those are the ones I've seen. I haven't seen the latest ones.
Well, the third one was
Megan Fox.
Where they travel in time.
Yeah, I saw that one. Pretty bad. Alright.
The first one had Vanilla Ice, though, so... Don't know which one's my favorite.
Alright, so the doctor and Perry become infected. Then they're looking around. They don't know they're infected yet. And there's a bunch of smugglers, like a group of about 8 of them. And they were smuggling in guns. And what's the captain name? Stotz?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stotz. S-T-Z-O-Z or something like that. Or S-T-O-Z.
Stotzy.
Well, the doctor calls him Stotzy at one point, but yeah, it's Stotz. So they're smuggling in all these guns and gas bombs and grenades and stuff. The doctor and Perry show up. The smugglers hide because they think they might be the army, the Federals. And the doctor's like, oh, this is enough guns and everything to supply an army. And then while they're looking at the stuff, the contraband, in comes the actual Federal Army and captures the doctor and Perry.
Gun runners.
Thinking they're the gun runners. Yeah.
Arrest them.
Like I said, this should have been a 6-parter. It's just, it moves so fast.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, in the old days it would have been. So then,
Definitely. If not more. In the old days.
Oh, okay. I think 6 would have been perfect in the 70s. In the 60s, they would have dragged it out for 7 or 8. Yeah. But I think 6 would have been perfect. So Perry and the Doctor get captured, and they go up to General, what's his name?
Chelak.
And he's got this big ship on the surface of the planet, Androzani Minor.
And he's in the salon getting his nails shellacked.
No.
They're like, I love your shellac, Chelak. And he's like, thank you.
None of that happened.
Okay.
But he's in this little small compartment, which is about the size of this room, maybe smaller. And he's got his little private quarters off to the side, which, maybe the 2 rooms together are the size of this room. And that's all we ever see of that ship. We never see a single corridor or anything else of that entire ship.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, okay.
They were running out of set budget.
There are, to be fair, a lot of sets here.
A lot of sets, yeah.
You got all the underground stuff, the several different places. You have Jack's places underground. You have Trial Morgan's office. Mm-hmm. You have the federal ship.
Lift and everything.
Yeah, you have the federal ship. Mm-hmm. You have the smuggler's ship. Mm-hmm.
My favorite,
I think that's all of them,
was the sort of emerald glass corridor that they're crawling down under the crevice that shoots out the scalding mud, so it melted all the glass, basically. But it's just my favorite color, emerald. So.
Oh, I do like emerald. The green's my favorite color. Yeah. Emerald green, probably, if I had to specify.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. Or a hunter green is also good. But I do like emerald. Alright, so the Doctor and Perry are declared gun smugglers, and the General says, well, if you work with us and you tell us all the information, we'll give you some clemency. If not, we're just going to kill you. And that's when we go to Tal Morgan.
Yeah, Tal.
It is obvious Tal Morgan is running this planet.
Morgus.
Huh?
Gus.
Morgus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Morgus. Tal Morgus is running this planet. Essentially, there is this chemical called what? Spectrox.
Yep.
Spectrox.
Specs.
And this extends your life, like significantly, like at least twice as long as you would normally live. So most of the population of the planet is on this drug or toxin or whatever.
And he's like, I don't look a day over 80. He looks 90.
Oh, he's actually 90. He actually looks about 50 to 55.
He's like, I don't look over 60. I'm 84. And he looked 84.
No, he looked 84. Okay. Do I look 84?
No.
Okay.
You look much better than he did. He's all emaciated and gaunt. And
I wasn't necessarily emaciated, but he had great hair. I like the president's hair. I wish I had the president's hair.
Yeah.
Not as a wig. I mean, just, I wish I could grow hair like he did. So anyway, so the president of the planet, of the 5 planets or whatever in the Sirius system, the Dog Star system.
Dog Star.
Yeah. You know why it's called the Dog Star?
Bone?
No.
Shaped like bone?
No, neither do I. Alright. So, Sirius, the Dog Star, it's like, why so serious?
Did you know there's a muscle in your jaw right there? Do you see that one?
Okay.
It's a little hard to see because I'm fat. You might have to poke it.
Okay, what about it?
Can you feel? It's called a dog. Dog muscle.
That's horrible. Alright. So anyway, the Doctor and Perry get condemned to death.
Did I get you?
Yes. They get condemned to death, and they're put into this little cell. And in the meantime, the General's talking to Morgus on this communicator, and Morgus is like, kill him.
Did you notice they really wanted to flex their CGI skills? So they have the translucent screen with his face on it. They made the point of
Yes.
him walking behind the screen.
Yes, actually, yeah.
And then walking back in front of it just a little bit so they could clip his shoulder in front of the purple circle. Because they had the purple circle that they did in post.
And it was a hollow projection.
On top of it was his image so he could walk behind.
Yeah. No, it was pretty decent for the time,
Yeah.
For the 1984.
And then that's where they spent all their budget because the futuristic guns were just regular Uzis. Like
It looked like water
thermoses
pistols, you know?
taped to the side of them to make them look more sci-fi.
Okay, so Morgus, Tal Morgus, is like, kill him. The general's like, well, we can get some good information from him. So he's like, no, kill him. We can't work with these guys. They're the scum and gunrunners. But he asks to see them first for some weird reason.
Right.
And the Doctor and Perry are taken in front of the video phone thing. And he goes, yeah, they're the worst scum of the earth. Kill them.
You can tell it just by looking at them.
Yeah, and the Doctor's like, I'm insulted here. So anyway, they get taken to a cell, and they're prepared for execution. In the meantime, what's the name of that Major? Stalwart or something?
Which one?
The Major.
Kepler?
No. Kepler's with the bad guys.
Oh.
Well.
Salatine.
Salatine. I kept hearing 17.
17.
Yeah. Salatine. Okay, so this guy is very efficient and very proficient. He's got everything down. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, this guy is helping the general, and he's really good. He tells them about the red cloth, and they're going to be killed.
Style.
Their bodies will be incinerated, and then we scatter your ashes wherever you want. And Dr. Perry were like, yeah, I don't like the sound of this at all. So, the Dr. and Perry put it in the cell, and they're getting ready the execution stuff. You figure it might be a gibbet, but it's not. It's a firing squad.
Say you were going to wear the red hood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where would you ask them to scatter your ashes? And this is in the year, 3680 or whatever.
Well, I don't want to be cremated, but
well, you're being executed, so you don't.
Well, I have no choice. I don't know.
I think there's only one answer, right?
Mm.
You say up your butt.
If I absolutely had to be cremated and they asked me where to scatter my ashes, I would say
up your butt.
No.
Oh, okay. Where?
In the Mississippi, right outside of Cafe du Monde.
Do you think the Mississippi's still there in the year 3680?
Yeah, it's been there for 10,000 years at least.
Nice.
Okay.
It's a long river.
It is. All right, not the longest in the world, but longest in North America. I think the Amazon may be the longest in the world. Amazon or the Yangtze?
Yahtzee?
Yangtze.
It's when you get 5 dice that are all the same.
No, that's Yahtzee, not Yangtze.
Oh.
The Yangtze River runs through Wuhan, China,
Wuhan.
and goes out to the sea. Goes out to the South China Sea. Okay, so the Doctor and Perry are in the cell. They're talking. Perry doesn't like the idea of being executed, but she's starting to not feel really good. They're starting to get like rashes and stuff.
Twitching.
Yeah, twitching. Anyway, so it cuts away. Then it comes back, and they take the Doctor and Perry out to be executed. Not Morgan. Morrison?
Morgus?
Morgus.
Yeah.
Morgus wants to watch the execution.
Yeah.
So we've got the Doctor and Perry in the red hoods. The president of that planet is also watching. The president's like, the red hoods, that's a disgrace. And Morgus is like...
Only deserved for military personnel.
Correct. He says, well, it's a military execution. He says, but that's reserved for soldiers. For these people, we just would have shot them in the back. But anyway, so they have the Doctor and Perry tied up, and they've got a whole bunch of guys, like 6 or 7, with submachine guns. I think it's actually automatic machine guns. And they just fire and kill the Doctor and Perry. And you've got all the wavy lines on the screen from the gunfire.
I missed that part. I was taking a note.
You were taking notes, yeah.
But that's when the
end of episode 1. Yeah.
Episode 1 is.
Okay. So episode 2, they cut the corpses of the Doctor and Perry from where they were tied up, and they just fall.
Collapse, yeah.
Yeah. And then...
Surprise,
they show up at, what's his name?
So they were
Prey
saved
or whatever?
by a...
Sec.
Jack in the box.
Yeah. By Jack. What's his name? Last name?
Jack's his last name. It's Sharaz Jack.
Showers Jack.
Showers
So that's
Jack.
the guy with the
android face.
Well, the Phantom of the Opera mask. Yeah. So with the black and white, which I showed you, Showers Jack, he took them out of the cell and put androids in the cell, and the androids were the ones that died.
How did they? Oh, in the cell.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's that spot where it kind of shows something opening right before it cuts to the meeting. The meeting between the president and the guy who actually runs the world.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. Anyway,
so shot the androids.
The androids are dead, and
how did he make the androids look like them so quickly?
Well, he intercepted the video, and I guess he has some sort of fast replication process for the android skin, the rubber.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Don't ask questions. All right. Okay, so
it must be fast because we find out later there's an android of Salatine also, and that must have been so quick because he even replicated the pimple that was on his cheek.
Pretty good. Yeah, it turns out that the Salatine.
Never mind, that is the same actor playing both roles.
Yeah. Major Salatine. We now at about this junction, we found out that Salatine has been a prisoner of Severus Jack for a while.
So he's there with the Doctor and Perry.
Perry as a prisoner. So the one up above is an android put in place to spy on everything because he sends all the communications down to Severus Jack. So Jack is pretty bad, and he's homing in on Perry in a way that this is a very adultish material. Like, I am sexually attracted to you.
Guy wearing a gimp
leather bondage armor, and
he's just clawing and
and he's touching Perry's face and shoulders, and it's really creepy. This is the closest. I mean, there have been a whole bunch of serials where a single female was held by a bunch of men as a captive, and none of them were like,
"Poor Perry,
we're gonna rape you." You know, I mean, like Romana. I mean, it's happened in several. It's happened in several serials, and there's no indication of any of that. But now that it's gone above the watershed, it's later at night. There's all this sexual tension, and we will spend our lives together, and you will learn to love me, and very Stockholm Syndrome-esque stuff. It's really creepy, but it's done really well.
And the worst part is he has really hairy knuckles.
He's got one glove off of one of his hands, and he's got these really hairy Italian knuckles or whatever. But he does it really well, and she reacts really well, and it's just well acted, the whole thing. All of her reactions and all of his creepiness is well done.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
So he's coming on to Perry in this weird, super creepy way because she's so beautiful, and he's like, I need the beauty. I used to be beautiful, and now I'm not. And at the same...
casted her to be a pretty girl, and then the very next serial they're like, look, pretty girl.
They probably took advantage of her casting to write that. Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
But gosh,
yeah.
has she really torn up this episode, this whole serial, just being captured, threatened to be executed, and she's in the cell, and she's crying, and then
and she's not feeling well because she's dying.
She's poisoned.
And this guy is just coming on to her in such a creepy way. She
watches the doctor die.
To be fair,
really rough start.
Perry gets the worst of a lot of stuff for a long time, but she doesn't complain about it as much as, say, Tegan would have, because Tegan was always complaining. Nissa not so much, Azure not so much, but Tegan was always complaining. But Perry kind of takes. She's older, well, except for Tegan. Tegan, I think about the same age, her and Tegan, but she takes it more in stride. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be here. I think it's a bad idea, but whatever, you know.
She has a right to complain.
Yeah. So the doctor runs interference, does a little blocking between Jack and Perry, and Jack's like, I want the beauty. I want to gaze on the beauty forever, and I will keep you alive forever, because he's got the stuff that'll keep her alive. Yeah. And he's like, and you, doctor, I want a mind almost as good as my own.
Almost.
Yeah. Doctor's like, what an ego. He said almost as good.
Jack doesn't even know he's not a human.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Earth? Yes, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, no. Well, we travel a lot. She says yes because she's from Earth. He says no because he's not. And then the doctor's like, well, we travel a lot. But this comes into play because those two and Salatine, they're sitting there after Jack leaves, and Salatine figures out that they have toxoma.
Yeah, from the
Spectrum or whatever, toxoma.
Spectronox nest.
Yeah, Spectronox toxoma. And he's like, oh, okay, you have cramps now, huh? Because he thought he was going to be killed by Jack because Jack had now found better companions other than the androids and him.
And Mr. Hyde was...
But apparently, so he thinks they're dying because, well, they are dying.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, well, cool. He's not going to kill me because you're dying. And he laughs his head off.
He has a good laugh.
The doctor, but he gives them all the information they need about everything. And he gives them a lot of information like, yeah, you can't leave here. You're dying now, but here's the cure. Let me tell you about the mother bat milk.
Yeah. I was sitting here, I was like, okay, this guy's a villain, that person's a villain, Jack's a villain, and I'm like, oh, Salatine's a villain. Oh wait, no, that's just his android, his bad guy. Maybe this Salatine will be a good guy, and he's like, oh, you're dying? I'm like, okay, he's also a villain.
He's a hostage, you gotta give him some leeway. He turns out pretty decent in the end. I mean, well, you kidnap, yeah, there's not a lot of good people in this
really
episode.
Just the doctor and
the general. The general's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he's doing it decently. Everyone else... Okay, so the doctor says, well, the androids are going to shoot humans. Well, let's see if they can tell I'm not human. And Salatine's like, what do you mean he's not human? And he's like, shh. The doctor steps out in the hallway where there's an android waiting to shoot all humans, which is why Salatine's never escaped in the months he's been there. And it does an eye thing, and it looks at him.
X-ray vision?
Yeah, some sort of
thing. It sees his two hearts.
Right, it sees the two hearts, boom, 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 and realizes he's not human. So it's like, oh, okay. The doctor's like, good android. And he goes behind the android and disconnects it. So they end up managing to get away, the doctor, Perry, and Salatine. They go into the caverns. In the meantime, Perry grabs a little deal that's kind of like a belt buckle that sends a signal at 80 megahertz to the androids that this is an okay person, not to kill them. Mega blips. Oh yeah, not to kill them. The doctors have to do it because he's not human, but Perry grabs one, and Salatine grabs one of the guns from the rack.
Yeah.
They go further into the caves. They're trying to find a way to escape. The doctor... are they fired upon first?
Yeah, so the soldiers showed up first. They kind of ran into each other in this tunnel. And then after the soldiers ran into them, then the armadillo came up and like clawed a couple of federales.
Yeah, the soldiers.
End of episode 2.
Well,
armadillo.
No.
Right? No.
Hold on. First, the doctor. Okay, so they're getting shot at by some people.
Yeah.
Okay, so the doctor goes one way, gets injured. He gets grazed by a bullet.
Bumps his head.
Yeah. Salatine grabs Perry, covers her mouth so she can't scream. He takes her away because he's got the gun, he's got her, and he runs off. Then the doctor goes one direction, and the soldiers come down.
Mm-hmm.
Then the armadillo shows up, and the doctor's right behind a rock, right there. The armadillo dragon's there, and there's all the soldiers, and that's the end of episode 2.
End of episode 2.
All
Episode
right.
3.
Episode 3. More soldiers die. And then, wait, this is after we saw a deal where the smugglers in episode 2 used the gas grenades to kill like 10 soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was episode 2, yeah.
They
They kill like 10 of them.
It's like 6.
How many deaths do you have here total?
23.
Yeah. In the end, like literally everybody dies,
and
including the doctor, except for
androids.
yeah, except for no, the androids die in the mud stuff.
Well, I mean on screen. I said a few androids.
And a few androids, yeah.
A part of the death count.
Even the Salatine android. The doctor and Perry run away. The door opens, so the mudslide's going to come in and kill him. And his last command was, "Hold me." So you stand there holding, Jack forever when the mud comes in. Yeah. Once again, everybody dies. I told you about the episode.
Except for Craw.
The doctor dances, right?
The doctor dances? You told me about that one?
No, have I told you about that?
I don't think so.
There's an episode in series 1 of the new stuff called The Doctor Dances.
Does he dance?
Yeah. And he goes, just once.
If he didn't.
He's like, just once. Everybody lives. And everyone lives in that episode. And he's just doing this dance because one time everybody lives. And it's beautiful.
It's pretty dark. He's like, for once.
Everybody lives, yeah. Well, like this one, everybody dies.
Some guy dying horribly.
We have so many serials
Cause for celebration.
Everybody dies, you know?
Did they have that in Star Trek where the guy at the end wearing the red shirt is like, "I'm still here"? He just starts dancing.
Kind of. Have you seen Galaxy Quest?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that red shirt guy.
He's like, "I'm the red shirt guy."
I was the guy in episode 3 of season 2, and I'm one of the crew with you, and then they get out there, and he's like, "I'm wearing the red shirt, I'm gonna die."
Galaxy Quest was the best Star Trek movie ever made.
Yeah, that may be the original Ravicon, but
You like Khan?
the original
Ravicon.
Ravicon.
Good, yeah. Oh, they remade it.
Yeah,
That's
they did
one of the
remake it,
new
but
ones?
the original and Galaxy
Was
Quest
it
is a fantastic Star Trek movie.
Was it like a sequel, or did they just remake it outright?
Remade it pretty much outright. It was, it had some great actors, and to be fair, I didn't see it.
Me either.
Yeah, I saw the first one, I was like, yeah, I'm good.
So we rated a 10 out of 2. We're the experts.
Alright, episode 2, episode 3.
3, yeah.
Okay, so...
Chelik.
Alright, So the armadillo dragon monster comes back, kills people. The doctor runs away. All right. Salatine gets away with Perry. Perry's not looking so good. She's not feeling so good.
Starting to run that fever, stage 3.
Yeah, stage 3. She's starting to die. Well, she's been dying for a while, but it's progressing now. But he gets her up to the general, and he's like, "Okay, this guy here is an android."
He's just so shook.
Yeah. The general's like, "Oh my god, really?"
First, he executed the doctor and Perry, but we're actually androids.
Androids.
He's like, I would be, thrown through the streets if they knew I couldn't tell the difference between a person and an android. And Salatine is like, "Hey, your
Salatine's been here for
assistant,
3 months.
yeah, he's actually also an android." He's just like, "Oh."
And he's
like,
sending
"Oh,
all
no."
the information back. And Salatine's like, "Hey, we can give it disinformation. Don't kill him. Send him disinformation and he'll send it back." Unfortunately,
They're terrible at this.
well, okay, Salatine's actually decently crafty at it. The general, not so much. The problem is that there's so many cameras everywhere that have been placed by the android Salatine that Jack knows everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Period. Even that conversation. They get the android Salatine in the room.
Also, the androids have X-ray vision.
Heat vision. Thermal.
Quick, he's coming. Hide in this room. And then they're hiding in the room. and Salatine turns to Perry. He's like, "Well, they have X-ray vision, so they probably know we're here."
Well, he gives Perry that little shot to help her because she's dying. And they don't care if she's going to live or die. They just want her to lead the mission down there.
To get back to
and she gives a gasp, and the android hears the gasp.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who plays Salatine, both the android and the regular Salatine, is pretty good because he plays them just close enough you can believe that the people are fooled, but just different enough that you can tell the difference between the two. Mm-hmm. It's very subtle and very, very well done. Yeah. The acting in the serial was really good. Although Jack had a lot of overacting, but that was his part. He was the fan of the opera guy, and he overacts the heck out of it. Yeah.
Which can be hard because doppelgangers or shapeshifters, they can kind of really ruin a TV show. In fact, that's why that one superhero show got canceled after the first season, because there's this one shapeshifter. There's a big plot point where it's like, "Oh, I'm really me, but you think I'm someone else," and then the people at home got confused and they just canceled the whole show.
Which superhero show is this?
I don't even remember what it's called, but
I'm nonplussed.
Yeah, it's this American family and a plane, it crashes. All of a sudden they have superpowers. It's basically the plot of the whole show. Big government plot, something, action.
I don't know the show.
And canceled.
Alright. Anyway, so the federal soldiers are leading a party down. They give the android Salatine a place to go to, and trying to give disinformation while they go the other direction where they think, where Salatine actually knows Jack's base is.
Except he kind of is, he's getting turned around a little bit.
Yeah, and the android suspects, and so they go do this. In the meantime, Jack is just so focused on Perry. Perry, my beloved. In his own way, it's super creepy, but in his own family opera way, he loves her, or he's in love with the idea of her. But either way, he's so focused on her, and in the end, her well-being, to be fair to him. He goes somehow into the federal ship on the surface and kidnaps her.
I guess he knows his way around.
But he does the, does this smell like chloroform thing, and yeah. But he kidnaps her and he takes her back down. So the guy in the leather outfit is walking through the federal ship with a half-dead, unconscious girl in his arms, and somehow just walks out.
I mean, we were talking earlier about how he has ears and eyes everywhere.
Yeah, the cameras.
Studying all the cameras. So
androids.
he maybe knows like all the different security routes and patrols and how to sneak out of there without.
But he just walks out with Perry and he takes her back down. But of course, she's dying. In the meantime, the doctor is woken up and he is stumbling around. He bumps back into Jack, who is talking to the smugglers, who most of them are dead now. There's like 3 or 4 left.
And we see the rash on the doctor's hand. The doctor's down stage.
Ooh, he's not looking good.
And he has had no treatment.
He and Perry are both dying for pretty much the entirety of the serial.
Yeah.
So Jack tells the smugglers, "You didn't bring me the weapons. I won't give you anything." And the smugglers are like, "Well, we want our 5 kilos of Spectrox." And he's like, "Well, you'll get 2. And the guy's like, 3. He's like, 2, but I'll give you 8 next time. And he's like, "Okay, we'll take 2. Anyway, Jack wanders off to go get them the 2 kilos. And the smugglers are like, "Ooh, he only asked for 20 minutes. Which means the Spectrox is be less than 10 minutes from here. Let's go find him." So then they bump into an ambush where Jack and his androids shoot several of them. Yet more deaths. There's just like 2 or 3. No, there's like 3 or 4 left. And then the doctor bumps into him. And Jack is like, "Come out, show yourself." And the doctor's like, "Well, here I am." He goes, "I didn't expect to see you again." He's like, "Well, sometimes life has these surprises." And Jack's like,
"Doctor,
okay."
Fair enough.
He's like, "Where's Perry?" "I don't know. I wish I knew." Oh, and he bitch slaps the doctor like
so
no
hard.
idea. Bam!
Like a full 360 wind up.
Yeah, he's like, when I ask a question,
the doctor grasps his face like one of the like money bunny. Money. He goes, "Oh."
Yeah, I don't expect a frivolous answer. And I was like, okay. And so Jack's focus is completely on Perry. And she's like, gotta find Perry. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay. So, and the doctor doesn't know where Perry is. And so when the Perry got taken up to the surface.
He's interrogating him. He's having his androids pull his arm.
Yeah. And finally the doctor's like, "I don't know." And he's like, okay. But he went with Stalwart. What's his name?
Who? Salatine?
Salatine, yeah. Okay, so this is when the doctor says, "I don't care about you anymore." But the smugglers decide to take the doctor. And then Right, and then Jack goes up to the surface and gets Perry and brings her back down. We covered that, but this is actually what happens. And so the doctor is taken up onto the spaceship with the smugglers. They got a little ship to go up to the big one. And the doctor's tied
him up.
Chain him up.
To a air grate.
Essentially,
and then he takes off his sweaty headband and dies around the doctor's face, which is gross. But he does that because he's about to have a web chat with the president, Mogus.
No. The guy who runs the Earth, not the president.
Oh,
In the meantime, Mogus has killed the president.
Yeah. He's like, "Check out this elevator shaft." He's like, "Oh, Emperor Palpatine style down the... He goes,
kills the president of the world. Oh, and by the way, have the engineer of this elevator shot.
Oh yeah. Have the means executed, and of course, Madame Krau's like, okay, just dead.
All right, so Mogus just kills him, kills the president of the world, and the doctor's is
system,
yeah. The doctor is stuck against that air grate, and okay, so Mogus talks to what is his name? The leader of the smugglers?
Krepler?
No. Krepler's the guy who was trying, always being a Hanya.
Oh, Stotts.
Stotts. So he's talking to Stotts, and he's like, wait a minute. Pull off a blindfold from the guy behind you. And he does. He calls another doctor. He's like, I know that. Shut up, I need to think. And this is something about Mogus, the entire serial. He's like, okay, I don't know about this. And he turns towards the camera. And he talks to himself at the camera. And goes, oh, I was thinking about this. The president must have been trying to kill me. And it's so weird. It's so out of place in not only Doctor Who, but pretty much
all. No one else does it.
Yeah, no. It's done a little bit in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. But it's such a bad movie, you know?
It's a lot of thinking out loud exposition.
It must have been worse than I thought, you know? But it's this out loud exposition directly at the camera.
It's almost Malcolm in the Middle-esque.
Yeah.
He paused everything and he looks in it.
It's so weird, but he does it so many times in the serial. Anyway, so he does that, and it's like, oh, the president's trying to kill me. Anyway, he kills the president.
I think that's a side effect of how jam-packed, you know.
Right. Like I said, it could have been 6 episodes easily.
To explain this stuff to the viewer.
Right, or to bring in the secretary and tell her.
Yeah,
they don't even have the time to do that.
So it's just breakneck pace.
Boom, 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 boom.
So he has his web chat with Stotts, right?
Yeah, and Stotts is like, he's like, wait, where are you? Oh, I'm coming down to the planet. Stotts is like, oh, something's wrong. So the doctor manages to break out of his confinement. He manages to break the little deals holding him to the air grate. And then there's a laser there, and he manages to use the laser to break the chains and the cuffs.
And burn himself.
He does burn himself the first time, yeah. He's still dying. He's still feeling horribly. His legs have buckled several times. But he sets the spaceship to go back to the planet, even if he has to crash land because
breakneck speed. Yeah,
breakneck speed because he's unfamiliar anymore with landings.
Mm-hmm. So Stotts really feels the turbulence, right? He comes, he knocks on the door, and goes, "Excuse me."
It's like, "Doctor, what are you doing?" The doctor's like, "Well, I'm taking us back to the planet."
Crash landing. He goes, "Get the torch," and they cut the door open.
And it's so obviously a styrofoam door.
They push over the styrofoam cutout. He points the gun at the doctor and he goes, "You just get out of there." And the doctor says, "That's not a very credible threat. I'm dying anyway."
Yeah, if you kill me, who cares? I'm dying.
But we're about to crash land, so you better grab onto something.
Right, tell Stotts, please grab onto something. We're going to crash. So anyway, they crash land.
Stotts is fine, by the way.
Well, yeah, there's only Stotts and 2 other guys. The doctor bails, and he's running, and Stotts tells the other 2 guys to chase after him. Mm-hmm. They're chasing after him. This is episode 4. We cut at the crash land, about to crash land. Episode 4, once again, should have been 2 episodes. The doctor's being chased by the other 2 guys, Ketzler and Unnamed, and they're going through, and they finally catch up to him when he falls off of a big giant sand dune, and then the mud deals start happening.
Right when they corner him, they're ready. They're going. They have all this time to shoot him. They turn to each other.
Well, they missed
now shoot the doctor.
The mud thing starts happening. So like, let's get the hell off the planet.
Let's get out of here.
He's dead. Let's run. They run back to the ship. In the meantime, Morgus has landed and is in the ship. They show up and like, oh,
don't I know you?
Apparently, this guy is super, super famous because he runs the world. Like, think of like
Biden.
Right, you would recognize Biden, yeah.
Smuggler van.
Yeah.
Don't I know you? He's like, no, you don't know me.
He's like, yeah, you don't know me, and you shouldn't. And they're like, to be fair, Ketzler goes, okay, I don't know you. And he looks back at Stas, and he's like, okay. And
where's this?
Ketzler, this is the only time he shows any wisdom whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time he's really bad at it. But this moment he goes, Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm out of my depth. I'm
actual discretion.
So, in the meantime, Morgus is like, you know what? I've got all this money off planet, but I think they're gonna come after me. So we need to go get the Stoltzen or whatever it is. Spectrix that Jax has. We need to go get it, and there's 4 of us. We can carry it all up, and you know what? Then there'll be enough that we can split.
He's like,
if the guys can carry 50 kilos each. And then he talks to his secretary, who has deposed him as head of the corporation. And he's like, "What have you done?" And she's like, "Well, the federals are coming after you on all these charges." She lists embezzlement, murder, yada yada yada. He's like,
"Oh, you're done, honey."
Yeah. He's like, "Well, they don't have a witness." She's like, "Oh yes, I do. Me." He's like, "Oh," and she's like, "Yeah, you're done. You're gone." And after that, Ketzler and the other guy, the unnamed guy, they're like, "Yeah, we're not following you into those mines. We're getting out of here."
It's at this moment where even the secretary, backstabbed Morgus and became the new chairman. You're like, there's just not a single good person in this whole scenario. They're all villains, all backstabbing each other.
Pretty close, except I would argue the general.
Oh, they're saying we're innocent, and he goes, I'm starting to believe that myself. But I'm going to execute.
Well, he had to follow
anyway.
orders because even his appeal couldn't
He's a bad
do
dude.
it. No. He was a dude working within the system. I think he was a good person because he was believing them, but he was working within the system. In as much as he
executing
could.
innocent people's not a good person.
I agree with that, yeah. But yeah, this, oof.
Not a single good
It's a lot
person.
of ickiness. But it's such a good serial. And the acting is good and the story is good. Anyway, so...
very poignant.
Yes, actually. So, anyway, so we're in episode 4. They've crash landed, the ducks running away. The mudslides start coming.
He goes, "There's simply not enough time." Is that when he says it? When does he say that line?
Right in there, yeah. So he's like, "I'm sorry, Perry, there's simply not enough. I can't go on." And then the mudslides happen and he starts running. Then he was running on pure will because his legs were already buckling from the cramps.
Fever.
Yeah, in the meantime, Perry's digging and dying down in the.
Oh, she's looking way worse than
yeah. Well, to be fair, she got infected slightly before the doctor, and she had a bigger exposure. And to be fair, she does not have the doctor's metabolism because she's a human, not a Time Lord. Yeah. So the doctor's able to press on better than she is, and. The doctor goes down and he runs. At this point, there's so many federal soldiers fighting against Care or whatever his name is.
Androids?
Yeah.
Kepler?
No, the main bad guy.
Oh, Jack.
Against Jack. And there's so many of them fighting against it that the federal soldiers, they're getting slaughtered because Jack knew to change the 80 microbits to 50 microbits reflection blips, and a bunch of these people, including Salatine, the actual Salatine, get just slaughtered. In the end, only the general manages to get past all the androids.
Yeah, he gets past all the androids, and he breaks in right as
the mudslides are happening.
Yeah, Jack and Perry are having this dialogue. She's dying, and he's fighting Jack, and he pulls his mask off and he goes,
Right, the Phantom of the Opera thing.
Yeah. And he's so horrified. He's just falls backwards, and Jack just pushes him.
He pushes him out to get destroyed by a mudslide.
Yeah.
So we have countless deaths in this. There's so many characters never had a line. All these soldiers, and they're all dead.
It's kind of like that trope where the guy's breath is so bad, like a pirate. He just breathes on someone and they fall off the ship. He's just so ugly. He just falls back.
Like what's his face in Blazing Saddles? Mongo. Mongo just breathes on somebody and he boom falls down. But anyway, so yeah, all the soldiers die, all the federal soldiers. Salatine, everybody. The general gets in, the general gets thrust out, he dies in the mudslides. The doctor almost gets hit by one of the mudslides. But the doctor eventually makes it into the room, says, "How's Perry?" And Jack's like, "She's dying." He's like, "Keep her as cool as you can for as long as you can. I'm going to go get the milk." The doctor goes in to get the milk. And like I said, this fourth episode should have been at least 2. The doctor crawls into the caverns, finds the Bat Mother down in the deep, dark depths.
Sleeping. He milks it without waking it up.
Right. He milks it. The Bat Mother is trying to die. The doctor milks it, gets just a small vial of it. He was helped by his own physiology and an oxygen tank given to him by Jack. Because Jack, in his own weird way, does seem to love Perry, or at least the idea of Perry. And the doctor gets back up. In the meantime...
the Federal...
Wait, no, the bad guy.
Which one?
The
Jack?
bad guy.
They're all bad guys.
Yeah, Stotts went back and killed the 2 other guys who didn't go with him and Morgan.
Oh yeah, so brutal.
He's like, "Bye," and he leaves down the corridor, then he comes back and just kills them. And just executes them. Then he goes down with Morgus, and they're going down to find all this, unobtainium. And they're down there, and Stotts is like, "Well, if we find this, it's an even split, right?" Morgus is like, "Yeah, okay, I guess so." So they're down there, and they're looking, and they finally manage to get into where Jack is.
Right, yeah. They storm his compound.
Right, they finally storm it, and Jack's got the doors, the Navy ship doors where the mudslides can't get in. They come in, and Jack's like, "What? Do you think bullets can hurt me now?" And he takes off his mask, and you finally see his face. The face is made of the people like shout and run away, and he runs up after he shows his face, and he just knocks the gun out of their hands. And he's taking Morgus, because the whole time he's wanted Morgus dead, because Morgus did that to him. Morgus, he did all the androids down to get the Spectrox for everyone for Morgus, and Morgus gave him faulty equipment so he would die, so Morgus would not have to split the profits with him. And he takes and he's fighting Morgus, and
do you ever see V for Vendetta?
Stotts. I have seen V for Vendetta.
Isn't this basically? Do you see the parallels? I think whoever wrote that movie must have watched this Doctor Who episode and got inspired, because you have Hugo Weaving playing V, and he's this burn victim who wears this costume, and at the end he's facing off with Mr. Cree, and they're like, "Shoot him," and he goes, he's like, "Why won't you die?" And he goes, "I'm bulletproof."
I hate V for Vendetta.
But this
I hate
serial is basically V for Vendetta with the prisoner.
No,
there's so many parallels.
It's a good bit more Phantom of the Opera.
That's V for Vendetta.
I hate V for Vendetta.
You have this guy who's scoring against this person because he got charred and burnt up, and he wears this outfit. He gets this girl. He rescues Slash, imprisons her. At the end, he
Stockholm Syndrome's her.
Bullet.
Have you read the graphic novel?
V for Vendetta?
Yes.
No.
It's based on a graphic novel. Okay. Alright. In the movie, she kind of comes to his thinking. Mm-hmm. In the graphic novel, he Stockholm Syndrome's her and imprisons her until she comes over to his side. It's even worse in the movie. No. Much worse in the movie.
Okay.
Much worse. Ugh, it's so bad.
That's basically Jack. That's Hugo Weaving from V for Vendetta. You gotta see the parallels. That he goes,
there are
ideas are bulletproof.
There are some
Mr.
parallels.
Creedy.
There are
Bullets
some.
can't hurt me.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so
two guys pointing a gun at him. He's like, I don't care.
yeah. So he's struggling with him.
Pushes him over.
He grabs Morgus.
Yep.
And he's taking Morgus. He's putting him into this like laser beam to kill him, which he does. In the meantime, Stotts gets up, grabs the gun that was knocked out of his hand, and he's shooting at Jack, and he kills him. So, but he does. Morgus takes a while to die. He's got so much. Jack takes a while to die. He has so much hate. Morgus is dead. Jack is hit and he's dying. Perry's laying there dying, and then Stolitz, what's his name?
Stotts?
No.
Stotzi?
No. Stalin or whatever.
Oh, Salatine?
Salatine. The android for Salatine who was sent on a mission way out, finally shows back up and kills Stotts. So everyone's dead. Jack is dying, and Jack looks at Salatine and says, "Hold me," as he's dying, and that's the android's last order. So Salatine holds out his arms. Jack falls into him, and the place is burning. The mudslides are happening, and the whole place is burning. The doctor stumbles in, grabs Perry, takes Perry back up to the surface while you see everything else is burning, and every single person is dead. He takes Perry back to the TARDIS, stumbles to get there, stumbles to unlock the TARDIS, crawls in, closes the door, sets the components, and then gives her the bat's milk.
Which works instantly.
Yeah, pretty darn good. It works. And she gets feeling better, and she's like, "Are you okay, doctor?" He's like, "Oh, I'm glad to see that doctor knew his stuff." And she's like, "You okay?" He says, "No, I'm going pretty quickly now." And she's like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah." She's like, "You can't leave me." And then, as he's dying, you see all of his companions, including Chameleon.
He says, "I think I'll regenerate. I'm not sure. This time feels different."
Right. And you see all of his companions, Adric, Tegan, Nissa. Adric, Tegan, Nissa, Chameleon, Turlo.
The master.
Right. All his companions are like, "Hold on, doctor." And the master's like, "No, you must die, doctor. You must die." And then finally that stops, and the doctor's like, there's the wavy line thing, and the doctor, and Perry's in the corner. And she's like, "Don't die, doctor." And the doctor's like, sits up. Yep. And we go to the sixth doctor, and Perry goes, "What happened, doctor?" He says, "Change." And he looks directly in the camera and goes, "And not a moment too soon." And that's the end. We start the sixth doctor.
We're on to Colin Baker.
What are your questions?
Rough cereal.
So many deaths. Not as many as 2 serials ago, but so many deaths. Everyone except Perry and the secretary died.
Yeah. Pretty much. Even the doctor died, yeah. Why did the doctor feel different this time when he was going to die? Why did he think he might not regenerate?
And not explained, but possibly the poison. Probably the poison.
So, what's the significance of the master telling him to die?
It's probably his own subconscious messing with him.
So the doctor references the 900-year-old journal diary, and that he stopped keeping a journal. 500-year-old.
He mentioned he was 900 years old, but the diary we've seen before is a 500-year diary.
And he stopped keeping a diary.
Yeah, because he just didn't have the time.
Yeah.
Despite the
he has a TARDIS.
Yeah.
Time travels.
Yeah. It's like It's funny when you time travel like this, you try to keep a diary, but you find you don't have the time. It's like, well, wait a minute. You're a time traveler. You don't have the time.
It's kind of a, what do you call that? Precursor? Foreshadowing of episode 4 where he's, the planet starts to erupt molten mud and he goes, what does he say? Not enough time?
Yeah. No.
He also explains, finally, why he wears celery.
Yes, actually he does.
Which it's just been killing us.
Because there's certain gases that he is susceptible to, and the celery would turn purple, but he also uses it in this particular cereal. This one cereal uses it as a restorative on Perry.
And what? So, why is it just Davison that would wear the celery and no one else?
That's one of his quirks.
Meter.
One of his quirks.
He's very short with Perry at the first episode. Kind of almost Hartnell-esque.
Yeah. Alright. You keep talking? I'll be back. I need to use the restroom. I know, we're in the question and answer phase. That's how to use the restroom.
So, this is the portion of the podcast where you, the audience, are going to get to answer a few of my questions. Question number 1, audience, is definitely, do you see the parallels between V for Vendetta and the Caves of Androzani? I imagine whoever the director of that movie probably watched this Doctor Who serial back in 1984, and there's no other way. I have to go on Wikipedia and do some reading afterwards. I know I'm gonna find some sort of article about it, but or maybe it's just similar tropes. Maybe I'm just making it up. Maybe I'm out of pocket here. Let me know. Let us know in the comments below. We'll do a poll, a straw poll. Vote on who's right. Do you think it's some strong parallels there, or just some random common tropes that are not at all related? This was a really, really dark serial. So dark that we kind of transitioned into Colin Baker really suddenly. And I feel like it's a very hard turn the entire show was making. Because we've noticed some darker themes, but this is the one serial where things kind of just fell off the end, right? The darkest serial we've seen to date in Doctor Who. Albeit we've seen serials with higher death counts, but I think, and we've seen some pretty dark themes, but this serial overall, just back to back to back, an entire cast of villains, backstabbing, the darkness of the plot, the characters, the weird guy in the leather outfit victimizing Perry, and all the themes. It's just, you see the show take such a drastic, mature turn that we haven't seen before. And I wonder why that is. We're starting to see the ratings for Doctor Who drop off. And I'm wondering if maybe this was an attempt to bring in a different viewer base to boost the ratings of the failing Doctor Who show, because this was kind of like at the peak, and you see the ratings start to drop off, and maybe they're doing some drastic changes to, because before that Doctor Who kind of had a solid increase of viewership and popularity and funding and income being brought into the BBC. And then it's kind of like what happened with World of Warcraft. It's just on this unstoppable trek, became the biggest game in the world, and all of a sudden Mr. Pandaria, and you see the very first downtick of subscribers. That's what I feel like we're doing right here with Doctor Who. It just had this roll, success after success, and this is the curve, the big turn, the turning point. Things start to go downhill.
Ooh, sorry about that.
I had to take a leak so bad I could taste it. All right.
We're talking about V for Vendetta.
Oh,
And other things.
Okay. So what are your other questions?
The nature of Doctor Who and the more mature turn that it's taken very suddenly.
Well, after they, in Tom Baker's era, were declared a family show instead of a children's show, it went above the watershed in terms of time in the evening, which means it went from 5 or 6 o'clock to 7 or 8 o'clock. And so they were accused of being too violent and too stuff, but when it went post-watershed, they embraced it, leaned into it. And there's a lot more death and a lot more darkness. And we see the worst sexual intimidation in this one. And once again, everyone dies. And that is part of the pushing the show into a different category, becomes more of that category.
What do you think brought about that push to change categories of the show? Do you think they started to see the ratings decline and they wanted to overcorrect them?
No, there was a lady in the late 70s who had a writing campaign against the show. And she's the one that got it changed from a children's show to a family show by her and her. It's the whole. I don't like this sound too general, but it's true. It's the whole. I am a woman and I need a cause. I'm a Karen and I've got to change things for the better. And damn it, I'm going to force it to change for the better. The same woman who brought us Prohibition.
I was about to say that's where Prohibition came from.
Yeah, the same women who brought this about with Doctor Who. Different women, but the same style of woman who need a cause. The same women who've done so many things over the years. They're the Karens today that got the Redskins name changed to the Commanders.
But it's the Commanders now?
Yeah, the Washington Commanders instead of the Washington Redskins.
They said they were going to change it before they even announced what they're changing it to. Which I thought was weird. They're like, we're changing it, okay? And I'm like, what to? They're like, we don't know yet.
Well, for a year they were the Washington football team. Because they were the Washington football team because they
spent a whole year debating.
Well, they had to copyright and trademark the Commanders.
You think they'd do all that stuff before even announcing it?
Well, no, they had to change it before they figured out what they were changing it to, and then they had to trademark and copyright. But it's those same people that are like, you don't know what you're doing. We have to fix it for you. This is so bad. And it's like, watch the show or don't watch it, but why do we have to change everything for you? And those are the people who got changed to a family show from a children's show, and they ended up making it more violent and more problematic in several ways.
What is the British broadcasting station, which is kind of like their...
Corporation, yeah.
Yeah, corporation.
Yeah, BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation.
What did I say?
Station.
Oh.
which is close, but
Cation.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like their public network, or...
Oh yeah, it's like a PBS over here.
Yeah.
Except pretty much every channel is controlled by PBS.
Oh, what?
All right.
Every program?
And every channel. In the United Kingdom, it's all controlled by the government.
BBC, see what you're saying.
They have BBC 1, 2, 3. They used to have 4, then they didn't have 4. Now they have 4 again. And they
have 4 stations in all of Britain.
It's a small country. Like, geographically speaking, it is small. And it's public, not private, but there are different towers broadcasting across the country to different stations. What other questions did you have?
That's about it. It was a pretty straightforward serial. Not a whole lot of questions.
Dark and good, and yeah, we'll do the choosing next time.
Next week.
Yeah, next week.
With our 3-episode special, you get our favorite of the
It may
serial,
be next week or the week after. We might have 4 episodes go up at the same time.
And our favorite of the Doctor's serials. all
Well, we have to do the favorite of this
summed
season.
up in next
Um,
episode.
Not including the Twin Dilemma, which will never ever be the favorite of anyone's season.
This podcast is a three-parter
No.
where we conclude with
No.
the best of the season and best of the Doctor.
And we'll do the best of this Doctor, which will probably be the
So stay
same as the
tuned.
best of the season, which will probably be this very soon.
There will be balloons.
Balloons.
Yeah, maybe added in post, maybe in CGI.
We have no friggin' post. It'd be cheaper to buy balloons.
Maybe just a balloons emoji in the comments section.
Alright, let me act like the main bad guy in this. Yeah, he's very wrong. He's very, very...
Oh, I thought you were going to look to the camera and say,
Yeah, I am. Look at the camera. Yes, he's very wrong.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Alright. We will see you hopefully next week for
Wait.
the
This is
Twin
what-
Dilemma.
Can I tell you what I thought you were going to say?
What?
So we'll see you next time for the Twin Dilemma. That's why I thought you were going to do it. You're going to look into the camera and into the Twin Dilemma, the season finale. Stay tuned.
6 Doctors first serial.
The 6th Doctor's first serial. We have
Not
a new
good.
Doctor.
Not good.
Did not see that coming at all.
I did not tell he or Alyssa that this was the one where they were generated, so it was a big surprise.
Yeah, the Doctor died. It actually died this time.
You know?
Alright. Thanks for joining us, guys.
See you next week.